Last season, I was experimenting with Broomy and realized that this card could make my turn 0 Ghoti Decklist bricky since it can summon Retaliating Sea and Mulcharmies going first, which normally would be bricks. I took it to ladder, and in 14 games I didn't lose any games at all and got Master 5 and decided to share it with you guys. Some of you guys challenged me to make it to Master 1, and normally I don't do Master 1 anymore because I used to do that every season and then I just got burnt out. The rewards to get to Master 1 isn't that much, and so this season I decided, you know what, let's go for it. And I was winning and I even got a 12 win streak and reached Master 2. And I only had less than 24 hours before the season ended. So this was a pretty fast streak all the way to Master 2, and I was only 2 wins away, and then the season ended. In my head, this is a Master 1 deck because I was right there. I'll show you guys what changes I made to the deck along the way. Some of you are wondering why there was no Sekka's Light. That's because this was a turn 0 Ghoti deck that chooses to go second. And if you're choosing to go second, you're not putting cards like Sekka's Light. When I added Broomy to the deck, I was just experimenting to see how it would work. So I wasn't really thinking about Sekka's Light when I was choosing to go first with the deck. Harpooner and Pirellia were weak points in the deck, so I took them out. And then I added Tuna and 3 Sekka's Light. This was a massive boost to consistency because we're going from 82% to 92% consistency, and this calculator doesn't factor in Sekka's Light second effect, which basically makes you draw a third card by swapping out one of your cards. So the consistency of the deck is a little bit more than 92%. I also dropped Paces to 1 since we have Tuna to search it. Normally, I would avoid Tuna Princess simply because, you know, it hates Ash Blossom, but in a deck like this, I think it is a worthwhile card. This deck needs a second starter other than Leaf Fish. We also need Fish, and Tuna is really the only other Fish starter for this deck other than Leaf Fish. If for some reason your opponent does negate your Tuna, there's a good chance you have something like Mulcharmy for Wallows, Max C, Retaliating Sea. These cards can let you draw cards on your opponent's turn, so if they used up their Ash, they're not negating these cards. You also have things like Broomy or Harpooner or Snopios. These cards can still extend even if your Tuna gets ashed. We also have Sekka's Light. Those 3 Sekka's Light can be used to bait Ash before you try to normal summon that Tuna Princess. For our first free play, we're going second. The opponent sets 4 cards. We're going to banish the Sykes with Snopios, banish the Snopios, search for Zep, and if we summon our Hopier and we summon that Zep, we can go into a Cell Synchro and go into a Deep Beyond, but they do Ash us. So instead, we'll have to use a Cell Synchro to summon the Hopier from the graveyard, and then jump into Stardust Dragon to then go into our level 10 Synchro, Satellite Warrior, then pop 1 card for each Synchro monster in our graveyard. So it looks like we're up against Labyrinth. Yay, we drew into Sekka's Light. We'll activate that, draw 2 cards. The opponent activates Welcome Labyrinth, summons a Lady Labyrinth. We go into the battle phase, and they tribute their monster to destroy all monsters in our hand with 1500 or less defense, and every one we draw for the next 3 turns. We're going to summon our Bestial by banishing that Lady Labyrinth and go into SP Little Knight to banish the Sykes Moonlight of the Ghoti from the graveyard. That will banish the Zep. Special summon the Sykes Moonlight of the Ghoti, and we're going to add Shift to our hand, banish that Shift, and end our turn. In the end phase, we'll get a Druce Worm thanks to our other Bestial. And the turn is passed to the opponent, and they drew 1 card, likely a trap card, that we can just banish with Ascan. We're going second again. We activate Pirellia. The opponent ends their turn, likely because they have hand traps, so they don't need to play into Pirellia. They activate Fawallos, and a second Fawallos. Fortunately for us, we don't actually have to play into Fawallos. We're going to send Shift to the graveyard, draw 2 cards, shuffle our Fawallos back into the deck, since we will be having monsters on the field, so we won't be able to activate it. We'll banish the Sykes. Sykes will add a Paces to the hand, we'll banish that Paces. We'll go into the battle phase, hit him for 4500, and end our turn. On the opponent's turn, we'll get both of our tuners back. We'll activate Max C in the standby phase. With only one card left in their hand, this is a good opportunity to hit them with a Deep Beyond. They'll activate a Magical Musketeer hand trap, will respond by going straight into Deep Beyond, wipe the field, add Snowpiercer to the hand, banish the Sykes, and that's it for the opponent. This time we're going first. Not the best hand, we're going to special summon that Leaf Fish with Harpooner. Activate that Leaf Fish and we do get hit with Ash Blossom. We're going to now normal summon that Retaliating Sea, go into SP Little Knight, get a Retaliating Sea to add Max C to the hand. On that opponent's turn, we're going to shotgun that Max C. Hopefully the opponent plays into this. They will. They're going to activate Heroes. We're going to special summon Retaliating Sea. Before they get to ram that monster into our Retaliating Sea, we're just going to banish it with SP Little Knight. They don't play into Max C anymore, and they only have 4,000 life points thanks to that spell. So we're going to go into a Leaf Fish, banish Sykes Moonlight of the Ghoti. When you have an effect that banishes cards sent to the graveyard, you can just send Sykes Moonlight of the Ghoti instead of Shift or Pacey's. Looks like the opponent has no defense here. So there I was. I activated a Max C in response to Branded Fusion, and they only summoned one monster. But don't underestimate Branded because they always have a lot of gas. So I'm going to normal summon Pacey's here. Pacey's will special summon the Leaf Fish and send Shift to the graveyard. I'll banish that Shift just in case. And then I'm going to summon the Tuna with Broomy. Broomy summons Zep from the deck and synchros straight into Aryan Post. Aryan Post banishes Sykes. Sykes banishes the Leaf Fish, and I normally would add Snopios here, but I figured if I summon Drew Swarm, banish the Fallen of Elbaz, I have 3 bodies on the field, and there's no way they can pop all 3 of them, right? So I add Keef to the hand and banish that. Now I have all 3 tuners banished. With a Hopier in my hand, and I'd figure 3 bodies, like, they can't get rid of all of them, right? So they summon Mirror Jade, remove one of them, and on the end phase, they activate an effect, add it to the hand, summon the Fallen of Albaz, go into a Boar Load. I try to remove the Boar Load with Drew Swarm, and they pop all 3 of my cards now. I have no bodies, they negate my Keef, and I'm gonna scoop. I've come back with a vengeance against Branded, this time with Foalos, and they ash it. So we're just gonna skip ahead a bit, and now it's my turn. This hand's not so great, and we're going up against an even more oppressive board than the last time. So we're going to activate Sekis Light, swap out Leaf Fish for a Sykes. So we're going to send Pacey's to the graveyard. Snopios will banish Shift and Sykes Moonlight of the Ghoti, special summon that, and target Blazing Cartesia. They summon Mirror Jade and banish Leaf Fish. They're going to fusion into Dragostapelia. We're going to summon the Sykes, and on Chainlink 2, Snopios will banish the Pacey's. Activate Drew Swarm, try to banish that Mirror Jade before they special summon it. Now they have Mercurier in their hand, but they won't be able to negate a monster with that effect until they have a fusion monster on the field that uses Fallen of Albaz as material. And this time I don't make the same mistake as the previous replay, I have a Snopios in my hand. So we're going to go into SP Little Knight, activate Drew Swarm to get rid of that Dragostapelia, and pass the turn. In the graveyard, the opponent will activate Rinbrum, the Striking Dragon, special summon the Fallen of Albaz, and there goes our SP Little Knight into a Mirror Jade. We tried so hard to prevent them from summoning Mirror Jade, and they did it anyway. Albion hits the field and fusion summons a Boar Load. That Blazing Cartesia will be added to the hand. The opponent's turn, they activate Max C. Standby phase will special summon the Keef, the Shift, and the Pacey's. They activate Boar Load, remove the Keef. With what we have, we can definitely wipe the board, we just have to let them summon one more monster. We're going to banish the Sykes and the Zep. They'll activate Mercurier, negate Snopios' summon. We'll special summon Sykes, banish the Keef, special summon the Zep. Ascan will target the Synchro, and then we'll go into a Deep Beyond. Even if you're up against an oppressive board, as long as you're banishing your tuners and still trying to work your way into getting a body on the field on the opponent's turn, then there's a good chance you're still going to be able to put up a fight against them. Here we use SP Little Knight to get rid of 2 of their negates. We go for Leafish, and that also gets rid of another negate. Then we're going to banish Sykes Moonlight of the Ghoti with Snopios. Sykes will banish the Snopios. Sykes will then add a tuner, and we're going to chain block it with Snopios. We'll add Snopios to the hand. Snopios will be the body on the field that we're going to have on the opponent's turn, if for some reason the Sykes or the Ascan get removed. And on the opponent's turn, we're going to special summon that Shift tuner, or at least try to. The opponent's going to negate it here. Even without that tuner, we still have Hopier, and we also have Sykes, which is something we can use to search for Zap and get another tuner anyway. With no tuner in the graveyard, we can't just simply Hopier into a Cell Synchro, and so we're going to have to be a little creative here. They negate our Retaliating Sea, go into Tyrant Dragon, they pop the Sykes Moonlight of the Ghoti, which is not really a good idea here because we're going to special summon Snopios, banish Snopios with Sykes, Snikes adds the Zap, banish that Zap, special summon the Zap, but we're going to chain Hopier, jump into a Cell Synchro, and then Deep Beyond with Zap, and we ran out of time. Decks that prefer their cards to be in the graveyard, they don't like to be banished, but they still have enough gas to still be able to play and hit you pretty hard. Things like Tearlaments, Branded, and now Blue Eyes. These are decks that are most fun to play with when you're playing Ghoti. The opponent's going to search the deck for a spell, activate that spell to special summon a tuner from the graveyard. We will respond with Retaliating Sea. They use Kashtira Unicorn to banish Aryan Post from the extra deck. I would have banished Deep Beyond face down, so on the following turn you banish the other Deep Beyond, and we would not be able to put up a fight without Deep Beyond. Cool thing about Retaliating Sea is that it's not once per turn, so we will be able to special summon another one. So even if they get rid of one, they can't get rid of both. We're going to use Shift to synchro with one of them into an Aryan Post. Use Aryan Post to banish... Oh, well, that gets imperm. Kashtira Unicorn's going to go for another one. They're going to banish SP Little Knight. We're going to go into the battle phase. Try to get them to summon that Blue Eyes. Remove that tuner. Or their turn ends, they set a Blue Eyes trap card. That trap card will be able to reveal a Blue Eyes from their hand, graveyard, or field, and then destroy cards on our side of the field. So they will use that trap card to get rid of Retaliating Sea. We're going to use Retaliating Sea, or we won't. They're going to banish that with Call by the Grave. We're going to activate Shift. They summon Blue Eyes Spirit Ultimate Dragon, but we're not going to activate the effect on the field. We're going to chain block. They're going to respond with Ash on Aryan Post. Chainlink 1 resolves. Ascan banishes Blue Eyes Spirit Ultimate Dragon. While Ascan is about to hit the field again, we're going to use Snopios to banish the Zep from our hand and Aryan Post from the graveyard. Special summon that Zep. Zep and the Ascan will synchro into a Deep Beyond. We know the opponent only has Effect Failure in their hand, so we're just going to banish the whole field, add Snopios to the hand, and the opponent's going to scoop. And that's all for now.